First of all, thank you, Supervisor Smidian, for inviting me to join you on this very important and frankly life-saving referral. Homelessness has reached the point of a humanitarian crisis, and the situation continues to worsen with each passing day. With our California room key money now running out, and that eviction moratorium coming to an end, this urgency extremely real. We certainly need housing, but it's not just one type, but housing options of all types. Permanent supportive housing sometimes takes years to build, which is extremely important. I definitely support that with Measure 8 funds. We also need housing options for people now to help them get stable as permanent supportive housing while they're coming online. When we have statistics showing that over 200 unhoused are dying everywhere in our streets in our prosperous Santa Clara County. I'm really excited to co-author this proposal with Supervisor Smidian because of my personal connection to these shipping containers for housing. I'm probably the only supervisor in the Bay Area or even California that's actually lived in a container housing unit. When I was deployed to serve in Iraq in 2009, I lived in a container housing unit for a year because that is what's being provided to soldiers deployed there. Being a sand sailor, but serving with the Army at the time, I've got the chance, of course, to live in tents as well during my deployment. And when we get to see these container housing unit, we were so excited because it sure beats living in a tent. These container housing are plentiful and extremely transportable. They are sturdy, they're exceptionally easy to convert, and they are also stackable. It's got a door that locks. It provides the privacy and safety that so many of our unhoused lacks when they're sleeping in the tents, living in the streets, on the overpasses, or by the creeks. These units are more humane than sanctioned encampments and can help provide people with the sense of dignity. But while $40 million suggested seems like a lot, the pandemic has really shown us that there's a need for dedicated housing versus congregate shelter to protect the health and safety of residents, especially during this pandemic. And as the eviction moratorium is expiring this week, we will still sadly need emergency interim housing options even more urgently. While we're using tax dollars, we need to be cost effective. And this option is one that is quick and is clearly one of the best that we have right now to tackle this urgent housing problem we are all facing today. This project by LifeMoves in Mountain View has developed what we call a good proof of concept because it's just one example of what we'd like to see. And we know that there may be many other organizations that have been working diligently to bring interim housing projects to fruition. Home First is the innovator of bridge housing and emergency interim housing and brought these concepts to the South Bay a few years ago, operating 4 projects currently developed with Habitat for Humanity and supported by the City of San Jose over at the Mayberry Road near the Berryessa BART Station, Felipe Avenue near Story Road, Rue Ferrari near Highway 101, Bernal Road and Monterey Road. Home First has also been a solid partner and working closely with our offices on the moteling program in Sunnyvale, in addition to operating 2 shelter projects, one in Sunnyvale and one in Little Oak Way. In the county and Amigos de Guadalupe also launched the Casillas de Esperanza, using pallet homes right next door to Old City Hall behind our offices. The county, Sobrato, Philanthropies, and Adobe Services have also collaborated on the Willow Glen Studios on Pedro Street. And just yesterday, I had the honor to dine with the residents of an emergency interim housing community at Evans Lane for families, a collaboration between the City of San Jose and PATH. We have so much room for improvement on the emergency interim housing model. I've heard from so many of you. We need to be mindful of the long-term costs of operating these units as well. And this is why we are also recommending that the administration incorporate some type of state and federal requirements that have implications for long-term housing as part of these agreements, like HUD's housing quality standards, which help establish the minimum quality criteria necessary for the health and safety for residents. Projects that meet these housing quality standards may be also eligible for federal and state subsidies to offset ongoing operating costs in the future. Building out 16 modular interim housing sites is a very ambitious goal, but unhoused problems requires bold solutions. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not the silver bullet, but then it will also take all of us to make this a reality. And this is why we're opening up this opportunity to not only LifeMoves, but any other providers who have the creativity and established track record to help us get these communities developed. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. I'm looking forward to my support of my colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Lee. And I just want to take a brief moment to say that my wife of 41 years is just absolutely awesome. And yes, that's the family size, Supervisor Ellenberg. Thank you very much.